In some of my past backpack test videos, I have a particular test scenario that I run where I go to a car wash and I use the high pressure water hose to spray down the backpack to see how well it repels any kind of water. Most of the time it doesn't work that well at all. The backpacks fail. They're not really designed for that kind of thing, and the contents inside will get soaked by water even after just a minute of that kind of test. So for some of the future backpack videos, I've kind of lightened what I've done for that particular test scenario where it's not as high impact of water pressure going to the backpack. Even though I've changed the test scenario for most other backpacks that I test, that it's a little less extreme, I always kept it in the back of my mind that I like to revisit that high pressure water test on a backpack that might be able to handle the challenge. Well, I finally stumbled upon this particular backpack. It's made by AquaQuest. It's the AquaQuest Sport 30 backpack. It's a waterproof 30-liter backpack. And the first test scenario I wanted to do with this one was that high pressure water test at the car wash to see how well it handles. So for this product review, let's talk about the AquaQuest Sport 30 backpack. The AquaQuest Sport 30 again is a completely waterproof backpack. It's kind of like having a dry bag, similar to the Sea to Summit dry bags, but with the shoulder straps on it. It's very simple in its design, at least from the outward appearance. Its main purpose is to protect the main contents from water. So on the outside, you'll see a strap of webbing that's attached to it, where you can attach multiple things on the outside, maybe using carabiners, for example. On both sides of the backpack, you have those water bottle pouches, which I really like for all of the backpacks that I have, and you have a little drawstring to tie them in there. The base of it doesn't have any kind of straps for attaching a sleeping bag or a tent or anything like that. And the back portion of the backpack has kind of a ventilated area, not too many channels for airflow to get through. And then the shoulder straps are, kind of your basic line. It has some D-loops in there with the chest strap, the waist strap. They're a little bit on the thin side, but they at least do the job. And then on the top, you have that drawstring design that kind of folds and wraps in on itself to help protect the contents from water. So that's a quick rundown of the AquaQuest Sport 30. Now let's do that high pressure water test on the AquaQuest Sport 30 backpack using this car wash. As you can see, it looks like that water is just beating right off of it. Let's open it up. Now let's open it up. You can see the water just kind of beating right off of it. Completely dry. Dry. And the final one, dry. So that definitely passed the high pressure water test. Awesome. Let's bump it up a notch now by doing some water submersion tests of the backpack. So I'm going to fill up the bathtub back here with water, and we'll do two test scenarios. The first test scenario will be just a submersion, maybe up to this level on the backpack, and I'll leave it there for an extended period of time, just to kind of simulate perhaps going through a river or a body of water where the water is maybe above your waist, and we'll just want to see if the items in the bottom portion of the backpack were to get wet in that kind of scenario. The second test case is just a complete submersion of the backpack in water to see if any kind of water gets through there to affect the contents. So let's get the bathtub filled up and go through those test scenarios. All right, that water level looks just about right. Let the testing begin. All right, let's go through test scenario 1. I have my stopwatch over here. Let's let it sit here for about 5 minutes, starting now. And wait and see. There we go. The backpack's definitely very buoyant, so it's definitely wanting to float in here, so I have a good feeling about it. All right, it's been 5 minutes. Let's open it up and see how our paper towel rolls did. All right. So the top two should definitely be good. Hopefully, so opening it up, Here's the first one, completely dry. Second one, completely dry again. And the true test, the third one. And it is also, see, I don't see any kind of moisture in there. Let me feel in there. Yeah, third one, also dry. Pretty impressive. Yeah, looking in there, there's no water in there whatsoever. Let's do a close-up really quick. So as you can see, after 5 minutes of being submerged in water, the base of the backpack has absolutely no water built up in there. That's very, very impressive. All right, so I refilled it with the 3 paper towels. Let's roll it up and do the complete submersion test. All right, now let's do a full submersion. So let's just run this one for 1 to 2 minutes, just like you were to fall in maybe a river or a lake or something like that with your backpack on. So let's start the timer now. And let it sit there. Again, it's very buoyant, so I'm gonna try to hold it in as best I can. Now you hear bubbles coming. So I imagine that it's getting inside well, as it's rolled up like that. We'll see. All right, it's been over a minute. Let's take it out and see how it did. Again, as I was holding it there, I definitely heard bubbles coming up through this top part, so it makes me wonder how that worked out. Okay, cool. We finally got some water in there, it looks like, at the very top area. So, but for the most part, I mean, we're just talking a few droplets in there. I just see a few droplets on there, but most of the paper towel is dry there. And then I'm not seeing, let's see. Yeah, this one's completely dry still. So let me do a close-up of the camera to see where you can see where those water droplets are actually coming in there with the full submersion. All right, so as you can see, that bottom one is completely dry down there, but we have some water droplets happening on the top over here, which is probably why we saw those bubbles when we were holding it in there like that. So for full submersion, it looks like, you know, the top contents would eventually start getting some water in there, but it would take a little bit of time to get to the bottom portion of it. But for the most part, I mean, no other backpack that I've tested, just normal fabric, would have survived that test whatsoever, let alone for over a minute. But again, it looks like the water's just getting in the very top over there. Based off of the water submersion test that I've conducted, I'd be pretty confident with the contents that I have in my backpack staying dry for the most part, unless it's a complete submersion where it's under the water for an extended period of time. Eventually it would start getting in through the top portion there. I'm very confident with it just sitting in water like this and not having anything that's in the bottom of the backpack being affected by the water. It passed my test for that. And for the full submersion, you know, you got a little bit of droplets at the top starting to form, and I imagine over time it would eventually get into that bag. But for the most part, it's really, really cool. That's going to do it for this product review featuring the AquaQuest Sport 30 backpack. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I tried to focus more on water testing for this backpack instead of some of the other like load-bearing type tests, because that's what this thing's designed to be good at, protecting your contents from water. I think it succeeded in that based off of my test scenarios. It passed the high pressure water test, which was one of the main ones I was looking for. It passed being the half submerged in water, so if you're going to be wading through a body of water, it would do well in that. It didn't pass the full submersion test, so you might not want to go scuba diving with this particular backpack, but I think in most scenarios it would work really well for protecting the contents from any kind of water. And the best thing about it, it's $60, which I think is a very reasonable price for a waterproof dry bag backpack like this. So if I were going to offer any kind of improvements on the design, I would probably like to have a little bit better design on the shoulder straps, maybe some more thickness and cushioning to it. I'd also like to see maybe some more effort into channels of air going through the back portion, so you're not building up sweat, and also maybe a aluminum spine going down through the middle, similar to what Kelty does. That'll help raise it from the small of your back, as well as giving it some kind of a frame to hold the integrity of the backpack. And then probably lastly is it'd be really nice if it had a laptop sleeve on the interior portion, so you could include your laptop in here and have it be more of a a work commuter backpack. So I think this would be best served for maybe urban bicyclists that are commuting to work, want to make sure that all their contents are protected, anyone that's doing any kind of water activities, water sports, and then just in general, if you're in a rainy region, you want to ensure that your contents are going to be protected from water. This would be a good backpack for it. For scuba divers, maybe you have to go for a slightly different one. But all in all, I was really happy with the test results from the AquaQuest Sport 30. Please leave your comments below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.